says this: Republican senators don't want to resist or oppose Trump, but even they might discover some hint of institutional pride if the president demands that the Senate shutter its operations for a while so that he can circumvent the constitutionally required confirmation process and put in place cabinet officials that most senators oppose. So, Kevin, how does this play out in reality?
Well, I think we'll see some recess appointments, and I think that's appropriate. You know, as a historian, I would say if you don't learn lessons from the past, then you're going to repeat the same mistakes. And what the American people have said, not just conservatives, Shannon, is that they want a Trump administration and a cabinet filled with men and women who place the ordinary American ahead of establishment Washington. From our heritage friend and fellow Tom Homan as the border czar, to RFK as the HHS secretary, to Marco Rubio as the Secretary of State, there is a message being sent that while you can have your institutional prerogatives, the American people want their country back. It's morning in America again, and the Senate needs to understand that.
Well, and Kevin, a lot of legal experts out there are saying if they try to do some sort of end run around Congress on these cuts, these ideas, I mean, that's going to wind up in court like day one.
Sure, and that's fair, but I don't see this or them as attempting to do an end-run, Shannon. I see them as setting a 30,000-foot view of something that every or almost every American acknowledges, which is, at the very least, on its best day, the federal government is inefficient, and we need to improve it on behalf of the everyday American. But there's another facet of this that I think we need to think about, and that is by enlisting Americans as volunteers. Not only will they get better ideas, but perhaps they will improve the level of trust that Americans have in their federal government. And I would like to think that that's something that even Juan and I and liberals, conservatives, centrists would think is a good thing.
I could agree with
Kevin, what do you think he does? I mean, Judge Merchan has moved and moved and moved this thing. It feels like we're due for a decision.
Well, our Fox friend and legal scholar Jonathan Turley said it right. He calls it a circus. And maybe the circus master will finally realize the gig is up. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what will be right and just. Even people who didn't vote for President Trump, to Juan's excellent point, think that the time for this to come to a close is past. Every decision he's made, every decision that judge has made, has favored the prosecution, which is really a political persecution that no one in this country should stand for.
I did sit through that trial.